Wasn't the right button to press. Okay. Okay, there we go. Good morning. It is Saturday, November 6th, and it's been a while since I sat down in front of the camera. There's been a lot going on for me mentally. I have found it very difficult to pick up the camera for the past probably month or so. I've recorded bits and pieces of my life over the last few weeks, but things have been hard. And I'm going to be honest to say that I was not doing well mentally. I let a lot of things go. My house being one, myself, all my goals and what I assumed were my passions. I fell into what I assumed was a really bad, depressive episode, and I shut down. I don't even know where to begin to explain, but I feel like I need to talk about it. Not to just post about it, but because I feel like it'll help me get past that moment of time. I don't remember the exact date, but I had a day off from work. The school was closed, and as you all know, I've mentioned that I want to look for a new job and I want to start in a new career. And there was a day that we had off that I spent the entire day applying to jobs. Literally, like, I'm not exaggerating. I woke up at 8 in the morning and I was applying to jobs consistently all day from 8 to almost, midnight? I should pause this. This is unnecessary. Yeah, so I was applying to jobs all day long, and I started to get into my head about it really bad over the course of the day, just getting really anxious that I wouldn't be able to find a new job because I don't have my degree. And I don't want to get too much into that aspect of it, but I just started really getting into my head. And by the end of the night, I looked back at my day and I realized that I literally spent the entire day in front of the computer applying, and I felt no more closer to finding a new job than I did before I started. And I know you can look at me or you can look at any situation and say, well, you were just applying, like, you gotta wait. But it wasn't that was bothering me. It was just the idea that I felt like I wouldn't be able to leave my current field. And I just started spiraling. I started thinking about other things, and everything that I was feeling and every goal that I wanted just kind of started to weigh on me. And I felt like everything was unreachable. And I'm pretty sure this video is going to be all over the place because I have no plan. I have no idea for what I'm about to say or what I'm going to say or what I want to say. I'm just talking. So I apologize in advance if this makes no sense, but this is just me spitting out what I was feeling for the past month or so. And I have a couple videos together or some content that I can put before this, but I just feel like I needed to get this out. So I'm debating if I still want to post some of those vlogs that I missed, and I probably will, but this one, I think I really want to put this out there just for me, for more than anything, to document how this time of my life, this month was probably the roughest month I've had in a long time. But going back to the day, by the end of the night, Brandon wasn't home, he was at work, and I shut down. Like, literally shut down. I sat on the couch and I felt numb. It wasn't just the job search. The job search was probably the icing on the cake for how I was feeling for quite a while. Hopeless, lost, confused. It just all felt too much. And I think that just got to me, and I kind of gave up. I couldn't find motivation to even get up and eat. I didn't eat at all that day. Probably like a piece of bread. And I stayed up and I cried. I spoke to Brandon, I spoke to my mom, and I cried, but it wasn't that relieving sort of cry. It was just like, I have nowhere to go from here cry. And I don't know if that makes sense. But I was up till 1, 2 in the morning, and I felt like my anxiety was high, and my mom and Brandon both told me that I should call out the next day too. And I didn't want to because I don't like calling out from work. But they both convinced me that I should. And so I called out. So I was off from work on Monday. I called out Tuesday, and I tried on Tuesday to get myself motivated, and maybe it was just the day that I was in a funk. But no, it stretched into Tuesday, and I couldn't even work out. I couldn't do anything without feeling this sense of, what's the point? Like I haven't done anything. I haven't made it anywhere. And I don't know. I know it sounds very like, what are you talking about? You have a lot to be thankful for. And I know I do. But my brain just literally started telling me that, I don't even know how I felt. I don't know what I was feeling. And when I talk about it now, I feel like it makes no sense. And I feel like it's hard to explain, other than the fact I felt hopeless and lost. That same weekend, I was supposed to go to Salem with my best friend. And I told her about how I was feeling, and she said, we don't have to go if you don't want to. But I said, no, I think I should. It'll be good for me. And I went, and I had an incident in Salem where I lost my phone for a second. I accidentally threw it in the bathroom garbage in a restaurant, and I don't know how that happened, but I threw it in a garbage, and I couldn't find it, and I started having like a mini panic attack. And thankfully, my Apple Watch, I was able to ping it, and someone who was in the bathroom heard it, and I found it, and I was able to clean it off and disinfect it. But as soon as I found my phone and I walked back to the table to my friend, I broke down, and like I was shaking and crying, and I felt so angry with myself for doing something so stupid. And I felt like how I was feeling didn't go away. Even if I tried to take a trip to, clear my head, it was still there. So the whole trip, I tried my best to not be that kind of moody, depressed person, because I wanted to enjoy it with her. But at the end of the day, I still had this lingering feeling in my mind, and it felt like in my heart that I just didn't know what to do. I was very low, very low. And I think that was around the 15th that I went to Salem. So it is now November 6th, so that was a good few weeks ago. And then after that, I've been slowly trying to build myself back up. The next week, I had a dentist appointment. I haven't been to the dentist in years, and I'm being quite honest. Coming from my family where we are, we haven't been able to afford really good dental, and the dentist is something that we just kind of let go, and it shouldn't be that way, but the reality is that it happens. So I went to the dentist for the first time, and I don't even know how long, because I've been having some dental issues. I have a cracked tooth, and it causes me a lot of pain sometimes, and I was told that I have so much dental work that needs to be done. Tooth extraction, root canal, probably implant. It's just, in the end, after all that, I might have to get braces, which are something that I'm really excited about. But hearing from the dentist that I had to get so much dental work done, and the dental insurance that I have doesn't cover it all until next year, August. So basically, I'm coming out of pocket for all of this. When I sat in the dentist chair, I started to cry, but not only because of the fear of being at the dentist, but because of the cost that I have to now put out. And I'm still in school, and I'm paying bills, and it's just that caused my anxiety and depressiveness it caused that feeling to come back up. And when I left the dentist's office, I broke down again, because it's like, where did my life go that everything just feels so complicated, like when the dentist was telling me that, you have this and this and this wrong with your teeth, it's like, I know she wasn't judging me, but I felt like really stupid as a grown adult for not having taken care of this stuff for years. And it just made me feel like a failure. And that brings me to my ultimate point, and a realization that hit me the other day is that, I've spoken about it before, but I don't think I've realized how hard or how deep I am in it. And I have a really bad, really strong sense, or a really strong fear of failure. And I think it's affecting every single area of my life. And I know that it becomes an issue because when my anxiety increases and I feel like I'm failing at something, I can't just pick myself up and motivate myself. I tend to drop whatever I'm doing and not focus it on anymore, because it causes me so much anxiety and it makes me so overwhelmed that I just don't want to do it anymore, and I push it to the side. My house, for instance, prime example. You can't see it, but it's been a mess, and Brandon has helped as much as he can, but he has so much that he has working on as well. And then it starts to pile up, and then when I see it piling up, I scramble and I freak out, and I just leave it. This is why I haven't been able to go to the dentist, because I know that it's been piling up and it's been giving me anxiety, and I have this sense that I failed, so let me just ignore it. And I know it sounds crazy when I look back at my life from as early as I can remember. The earliest I can remember is 5th grade. And I went to a private school, and it was in Brooklyn. And it was an hour or so away from my house, as I still lived in Jersey. And so we would leave like at 6 a.m. to get there. I remember the private school just being, like, everyone being so close and everyone kind of being so perfect. And I felt not equal to them. My family still didn't have a lot of money, so me going to a private school took a toll on the family, but my parents tried to work through it. I only went there for a year, but after that I told my parents I didn't want to anymore because I didn't feel comfortable. I just remember feeling inadequate and less than everybody else there, and I don't think I fully understood it back then, but it really hurt. And I felt like I wasn't worthy of being there because of all the factors that played into it. And then as I got older, like, little things came to mind. When I was in 6th grade, a guy that I really liked didn't like me back, and he liked a really pretty girl, and that crushed me. And I tried my best to become invisible and pretend like, not that I didn't care, but not think about stuff like that. So I pushed myself into another direction. And in high school, I took a test to get into a really smart school because everyone always told me growing up that I was smart. And I failed the test, and I didn't get into the high school that I wanted to, and I went to a public school that was closer to my house that I hated for 4 years. And then when I went to college for the first time, I had loans that basically told me, you can't take out any more money, you have to leave school. And I left, and it hurt because I saw all these girls that looked like teachers, and they had that look about them, and I didn't feel that way. It was just, my whole life has been me stopping myself because of circumstances and just letting it pass me by. And I'm 30 years old, and it's still affecting me. Right now, this moment in my life, it's been really dark and hard, and I think it's because I've been questioning so much. I'm back in school, thankfully, and everything seems to be okay for now. I'm in a communications class, but I still feel really hopeless because I want to change my major and I want to start a different field, but I feel like I can't do it. I feel like there's no point in me trying because I feel like I'm gonna fail, and that's the way my mind works. And it's really hard to just change that. I've literally been thinking this way my entire life. You know, that you can't do this. Don't do it. Push it away and just focus on what you're good at, and which has been teaching for 10 years. But obviously it's irrational, and obviously if I try and I put my mind to something and I practice, I'll get better, but that's just not the way my mind immediately works when I'm thinking of something. And like, I broke down the other day as I was cleaning my closet for the millionth time in the recent weeks, and because I was just thinking about it all, and I realized, man, I've really held myself back because of this irrational fear of failing at something. And honestly, I'm sick of it. I stopped YouTube, and I know you guys have noticed, I stopped recording because I was scared. I wasn't getting anywhere, and I feel like I need to change the style of my videos and be trendy and be this and like follow the style of everyone else, but I don't want to do that. I just want to record, and I want to talk, and I want to vent, and I want to document. I do have this desire to create something, and I know I've said it before, but it really hit me. Like, I can't keep letting this fear hold me back from doing things. And it's gotten to me recently, and I'm sick of it. Fighting with your own mind is literally the most hardest thing, because I have dozens of people telling me that, why are you feeling this way? Like, you know, you got to motivate yourself. And I know that. I know that I just need to get up and do it, but I'm thankful for Brandon because he's so supportive, and he's been so good to me through this really rough few weeks. But I really want to move past this stage because I'm tired of feeling so down. I'm tired of allowing myself to wallow in this feeling. And I know it's gonna come in waves. I want to work to grow and escape this box that I put myself in, that I can't do more or I can't try something new. On Thursday this week, on November 11th, I'm getting a tooth pulled, and it's going to be this tooth right here. And a part of me is really nervous about it, partially because of the pain and partially because I already have, my self-esteem is not the greatest, and it's making me panic a little bit because I'm scared that people are going to notice, and people are going to notice because it's a gap in my mouth, let's be honest. And obviously there are different things that I can do to get maybe like a tooth denture or a fill-in or something that's temporary, I don't know, but regardless, all of those things cost money, and that's a whole other thing for me to focus on. And I can feel myself getting worried about it and then just shutting down. But I've came to the conclusion that it's not going to do me any good to sit here worrying about it. So on Thursday, I'm going to go in and get my tooth pulled, and most likely be able to talk to the dentist about my options, about filling it in for the time being. But I'm going to have to accept that it's something that I need to do. And look at the reality of it, that it happens, and while it may be embarrassing for a moment, the people around me that love me won't care. And I just have to take it from there, because if I sit and I think and I overwhelm myself with thoughts about how I might look, how I might feel, it's just going to make me feel really, really small and feed into this feeling that I currently have. But I wanted to just put on my camera today and just talk and say that if you if you made it to the end of the video, I've been here and I've been wanting to record and I've been wanting to post, and I couldn't find the inspiration or motivation. I haven't been on YouTube, and if I haven't watched your video for a while, I apologize. I wanted to, but I've needed to get out of this mindset. So I tried to stay away from social media for a little, for especially YouTube, because it's something that was really weighing on my mind. But I want to get back into it. I do miss it. I miss recording and editing and posting. This journey that I'm on this year, I don't know. I feel like on one hand it's good because it's just me questioning what I really want to do and who I really want to be in life. And I think it's just overwhelming, all the thoughts about me changing things and, shaking up what was normal for me. I do have a lot to be thankful for. I've made a lot of progress in my life. And I think now I just have to focus on working towards my happiness. So I won't be leaving my job anytime soon because I need a lot of dental work. And I don't want to start a new job with having to call out and take days off to perform root canals. And so I'll probably finish out the school year here and see where I can go from there. I'm back in school, so I'm trying to be a little hopeful about my life and where I'm headed, and to make decisions that I'm comfortable with and confident in, and to have the courage to try even if there was a possibility of failure, because it's a human thing to fail, and that's how we learn and that's how we grow, and I can't grow if I don't fail. So I'm willing to try. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I used to be really, really into drawing. My uncle is kind of an artist, so growing up, I loved watching him draw, and it's something that I kind of started doing myself as I got older. And I used to do a lot of drawing, and I stopped for a long time because I felt like I started noticing that people were better than me, and it made me feel really inadequate and like I wasn't good enough. But it's not true, and I shouldn't be using people as a comparison for myself. Everybody can excel in their own ways, at their own levels, at their own pace, and I want to get back into it. So I think actually I'm gonna show you guys a couple of my drawings. These are really old, but I used to be really proud of them, and I've done a lot of fan art. And if you're unfamiliar with the term of fan art, it's just basically if you're a fan of something, you just draw a picture of it. So if you're a fan of Squid Games, and you draw pictures of Squid Game characters, you're doing fan art. If you're a fan of Harry Potter and you draw Harry Potter characters, you're doing fan art. So I used to be really big on it, and I kind of still am, but I haven't done it in a long time. And Brandon's always been trying to encourage me to get back into it, but I started again the other night, and it actually made me feel really good. I think I kind of miss art and drawing and just creating in general. So, but yeah, I'm going to show you guys a couple of my drawings, and they're old. They're from years ago, so they might not be the greatest, and maybe that's just me being like self-critical, because I feel like some of them really are really good. So let me change my wording and say some of them are really good. Some of them are not the greatest, but some of them are really good for me having no like foundation or educational background in art and just learning on my own, because that's what this is. I learned everything on my own, and I would like to learn more, but everything that here is kind of like self-taught. But I have like one of those accordion folders filled with drawings. Let's see, I really like, I don't know if you can see, but I drew these like mini anime versions of Glee characters when I was obsessed with Glee. I did of some of my favorite YA book characters. So I have Clary from The Mortal Instruments. I believe this is Triss from Divergent, Hermione, and Katniss from Hunger Games. It's bringing back kind of a lot of memories. So I made this after seeing a tweet that said, Michael Jackson is up in heaven teaching Corey how to dance. So obviously this is Michael Jackson, and this is Corey Monteith. I drew this. Also, Sam and Mercedes from Glee. A cast of How I Met Your Mother. Elsa and Anna. Clary and Jace, they are from the book series The Mortal Instruments. A full color art piece I did of anime characters from the anime Soul Eater. I have so much more scattered around in art books, but I really want to get back into it because it makes me happy, and even just rushing through those for really quick, I feel a lot better. I'm actually going to edit this right now, put it on my computer, and see if I can post it up for tomorrow, because I do want to post all the content that I haven't gotten to. I went to 2 Jonas Brothers concerts. I went to an emo night. I went to Salem in the past few weeks. I had a Halloween party, and I desperately wanted to record it, but I wasn't in the mindset to do anything. Had a blast, but my mood was really affecting a lot of these occurrences, and since it's the holidays, I want to get out of this funk and start pushing myself to do things and not being scared of failure or the possibility of being judged or looked at, and just live my life, because I hate saying it, but YOLO, right? You only live once, and there's no sense in me sitting here worried about failing when life is just passing me by. So I'm gonna get to it. If you stuck around and you're still following me after all this time, I just want to thank you. If you were wondering where I've been, this is it. I haven't been doing well, but I'm back and hopefully feeling a little bit better and a stronger mindset, and understand that even if I fall, I can always get back up, because I think that's a big issue for me, is that I feel like when I fall, there's no point in getting back up. But I'm fighting to change that. And it's not going to be easy. I'm going to fall again. I know that. But I'm going to try. So thank you for sticking around if you have. I miss posting. I miss watching your videos. And all of you know who you are. Whoever I comment on religiously, I do miss watching your videos. And I'm glad to see that most of you are still posting. And I'm going to catch up again. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think this is all I'm going to leave it as for now, because this video has been pretty heavy. But I'm about to edit this, probably get it ready to post tomorrow, and clean up my house. And I'll see you guys next time.